Hey there, fam. How's it going? And welcome to an episode of TalkswithRodz Unfiltered. As you can tell, we are back outside. It was raining. It kind of still is a little bit. It's a little drizzling, hence the the little rain jacket. But I wanted to get this video out there. I wanted to get it to you guys because it was actually a conversation that I had with a couple of friends of mine. We just had lunch, and it was interesting because we heard this phrase before, and I had brought it up to the group. Excuse me. I brought it up to the group, and it was interesting to get everybody's perspective on it. And this is mine. I also put in what my friends said, but we all kind of had the same idea and the same concept of, what this phrase came about. And the phrase is, it is lonely at the top. Now, you might have heard that from either artists, sports players, athletes, people that have made it, quote unquote. And it's a phrase that I don't really think it's correct because, and this is where my little quote came in. If you feel like it's lonely at the top, then your people you have around you aren't the right people, right? Think about it. If you think that it's lonely at the top, you might not have the proper people around you. Your circle might not be the correct one. And the reason I say that is no one makes it by themselves, right? Let's say you had no support in your dreams. Let's say no one believed in you. No one thought you were good enough. And you're proving all these people wrong, right? Which there's many stories like that. People that, they have achieved, a certain level of success. And, they're like, you know what? I'm grateful for a very small group of people. Even they have a small group, right? Hey, I always had a brother that believed in me. I always had a mother that, always told me that just to go, reach for the stars. There's always someone there. And let's say you went and you grew up in a bad area, in a bad household. It's just a toxic environment. And you completely removed yourself from that environment and you started off somewhere new by yourself, right? Well, we all know, right? If you're watching this channel, you should know that you're never truly by yourself, right? God's always with you. So you can never say that, oh, it's lonely at the top. Because when you're alone, meaning there's no one around, right? There's always someone, right? And for me, I've been blessed to say that I have, a very strong group of people that really, go when they push me, to my limits. They push me to even look past those limits and to achieve things that maybe I didn't think were possible. But, there's a phrase that it's so said, in the special forces and just a lot of elite communities is that the strength of the wolf comes from the pack, right? The wolf, yeah, if you've ever seen a wolf, they're massive. They're not just your little dogs, your little, husky dogs. No, they're these massive animals. And yes, you hear the phrase, a lone wolf, because that someone's by themselves, someone's, they're just not really into big groups, and that's cool. But a legit pack, the strength of the wolf is the pack. That when those wolves come together, see, they don't attack just one-on-one. No. They're if you're, I love dinosaurs. Like a velociraptor, when you see one, there's at least one more, right? So you have one going on this way, you have another one coming here to attack its prey. Well, the pack, when a wolf attacks, it might seem like it's only coming on one side, but then out of nowhere, then the prey or whatever they're gonna go after, they're gonna go eat and kill, gets hit by its other side, the other side. The strength of the pack is what keeps that wolf alive, right? You in the military, that they fight for the person next to them, right? What gives them the energy and the strength, and if they're not Christians, other than God, is to know that their battle buddy right next to them is gonna push them. That their battle buddy was willing to give their life for them. So when two people are doing that, I'm willing to give my life for you. I'm willing to die here and to fight the good fight just to make sure you get out alive. That selflessness, right? Not selfishness, selflessness. With that kind of mentality, that's what gets people forward, right? So when that phrase came out, we were just jotting on the ideas, jumping around with different things of why people might say that. And again, like I said, some people might think oh, no one believed in me, no one trusted in me, no one thought I was ever good enough, and that's great. And that's not great, but whatever, that's how they feel. But that motivates you to prove everyone else wrong, right? That motivates you to push forward. That motivates you to go and succeed. That motivated you to get out of that bad situation. That motivated you to go on to do better things, right? Now, when you get to that level, what you should do is then teach those around you at that next level, or maybe people under you, what not to do. It should motivate you to be, you know what, I didn't have this growing up, so you know what, let me show you what I did wrong. Let me show you what, the errors I made, so you don't make them, right? Like this also came up in a conversation. I think I've said it here on this podcast before. My group of people is like pretty small, so we might have repeated that a couple of times. But that sometimes in life, you become the person you needed back when you were younger, back when you started off, right? Let's say you're opening up a business, right? And no one believes in your business. And you scaled it up and you got even bigger and bigger. And then you meet someone that's just starting off. Maybe you didn't have that support. You didn't have that mentor to show you. But now you can become that mentor for other people, right? I've heard a lot of other people in different podcasts, they say the same thing, that they became what they wish they had growing up. They became the father figure, the mother figure, the role model that they wish they had growing up, that they wish they had in the beginning. But our job, right, not just as creatives, not just as, like whatever platform you're on, but as human beings, is to help the people before us, right? Or sorry, the people after us, right? Because if we can go and save them some headaches, save them, some trouble, save them something, cover the holes that maybe you would have fallen into, so they don't fall into. That's always like the motivation, right? It's always the motive is to help those that are coming after us, right? So that our ceiling becomes their floor, right? I had a pastor say that one time. He said it in Spanish, but that for him, he wanted that his children to build upon what he left, right? So his ceiling, where he topped out at, he wanted his kids to start from there, and then their kids, and their kids, and then their kids, right? That's always the game plan. That's always the motivation. That's always the end goal of what we want to do. Whether it's with your family, whether it's with your friend group, whether it's with like a business, whatever it is, it should always be the motive, and the end result should be for whatever's coming after you to be better. And again, I'm a really big fan of Joe Rogan, his podcast, and he brought up a quote not too long ago that I saw actually like on a repeat, like a certain clip on YouTube, that, a hard times create hard men create soft times create soft men. It's a vicious circle, right? But what if we break that circle? What if those, becoming hard men, hard women, and become just fighters, we became soft times, but instead of getting comfortable with that, we just build upon, okay, cool. You know what? I only had this amount of, let's say you only had about this amount, of knowledge, and now you'll have this. Well, it should be that then the next generation that has this builds upon that. They don't just get lackadaisical and like sedative and like, oh, this is it, I'm good with just that, and get complacent. No, they get better and they expand from that, and they get bigger and bigger. That's how empires were built back in the day, right? That a king would go, he'd conquer a land, and then his kids would go expand on that land, and then bigger and bigger and bigger. So what became maybe, let's say, like he's the leader of a small group, now became, let's say the ruler of a certain area. Then he became king, then he became emperor. Then like it started getting even bigger and bigger. That's what we're called to do. That's what we're called to be, is to go and to fight the good fight, to be more than conquerors through Christ, right? So to say that, that it's lonely at the top, it just means you have the wrong people around you. And that might be a little hard to say, but if your circle isn't growing, it might be time to change circles. And I don't mean, I don't mean that like, oh, they're not at the same level I'm at, I'm just gone. No, like push them. Like, hey, you know what, guys, like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like help teach them, help grow them. But if they don't want to grow, if they refuse to grow, I'm sorry, fam, but you might have to leave that circle, because they're going to just weigh you down, right? They're just going to keep it, they're going to go and I think Steve Harvey talked about this, that the easiest way to kill a big dream is to tell it to a small-minded person. Now, it might sound aggressive, but it's true, because at the end of the day, they're not the ones fighting for you. Now, again, I'm going to say that like in the parentheses, because a true friend will see that you're struggling and will be like, you know what, I got you, and they'll fight that battle with you. They won't go and just let you just go, well, it sucks, man, you're stuck with that. No, it's like, hey, what are you struggling with? Let's pray about it. Let's move together with it. Like, how can I help you, right? Like, we give each other the hand. Like, back in the Roman times and back in like the biblical times as well, like same time frame, whatever. When they would shake hands, like nowadays we shake hands like it's kind of like this, right? Well, back then they would grip each other like this. Why? We'll go this way. Why? Because if this person let go, I still had you here. Meaning this is a pact we're making, that whether you let go here, you might be struggling, you might be weak, you might not be feeling too good, but I got you here. I got you, my brother. I got you, my sister. I won't let you go. Because that's what a real friend does. They go and they support each other, right? They uplift each other, that when things get rough and when things get tough, the tough come together and we bind together and that circle gets tighter and like, all right, what can we do to build that brother up, to build that sister up? Because this is not a competition in the sense of, oh, this is just for me and none for you. No, there's enough on the plate for everybody to eat, right? So if I'm eating, we're eating. Like, car. If there's a phrase that, we've actually said in my friend group a lot, that if one of us gets a dime, let's say it's two people, if one of us gets a dime, we both have a nickel, right? And what that means, obviously, you have like a bigger group, you split it up. But the basis of that is, if I get something, I'm gonna share it with you. And it's because it's vice versa. And it's not a, well, Rodz, but I'm always the one giving, and not getting anything, in return. I'm not getting that, it's not getting reciprocated back. Like, I give all I have, and then when I need help, they leave me high and dry. But like I said, maybe it's time to switch circles. Maybe that friend you've had since you were like a little kid, you've outgrown them. And there's nothing wrong with that, because maybe the calling that God had upon your life, right? They don't agree with it, and they don't want to see you grow because they don't want to take that risk. They don't want to go and venture out. And I mean, it sucks, but sometimes you gotta let them go. Sometimes you have to be like, hey, listen, like, God's called me to this. You either come with me or get out of my way. And I know this might not be the most like, nicest, unfiltered that I've dropped in a while, but it's true. Like, I'm very passionate about this because it is so important to go and to stay focused on your dream. It's so important to go and stay dialed on what we want to do and what God's called you to do, that you can't let people, as close as they might be, knock you off that course, knock you off that path. Because what God has for you is so big and so amazing that He needs you to go 100% full send and all in. Yeah? So to wrap this one up a little bit, like, whether you have that one good friend or you have a really tight, good circle, you're never at a point where you just did it by yourself. There's always someone praying for you. There's always someone, looking out for you. There's always someone just wanting you for you to do good, right? That's what friends are for. That's what brothers are for. That's why, they say that, blood is thicker than water. But some friends that aren't blood become family. And certain family that as much as they are blood aren't as close as family. Like, I have been blessed enough to say that, I don't have any siblings. I am an only child. Physically, in blood. But I have some brothers and sisters that I know for a fact got my back, right? We might not be blood, but we're still family, right? Like, that's the thing that when things get tough and I'm like, you know what, let me go and I need some help right now. I can pick up my phone and I have my circle. Bam, hey guys, you know what? This is going on. And they'll pray for me. Like, hey Rodz, we got your back. What do you need? What's happening? And it's not okay, hey, I'm gonna do this for you. What can you do for me? No. It's what do you need, and that's it. Right? Here you go. Don't worry about it. That's the kind of love that you need to have towards one another. That brotherly love, that brother-sister love, that sister-sister love. Whatever kind of look you want to look at it like, right? Right? Cause I have some boys that, those are my brothers. That's fam to me. They're there, thick and thin, hell or high water. I have some friends of mine, some homegirls of mine, they're like sisters to me. That I know for a fact that I'm like, hey, listen, I need him, like, hey, Rodz, I'll pray for you about this. That we have each other's backs, right? That's the important thing, is to have that community and that circle so tight that no matter what happens in your life, they got your back. Yeah? So I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Wow. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these talks. I love you. I'm going to try to go in before it actually starts pouring really, really bad. Got a little break in the rain. I'm going to grab all my gear, go back inside. Hopefully I don't get too wet, because that would be real bad. This gear is very expensive. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, like I said. And just stay active, stay pushing, get your circle tight, get your people just around you that will build you up, that will support you, that will help you grow to achieve everything God has for you. Yeah, I love y'all. Stay safe, and as always, make it the best day ever.